And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora coming to you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, every Wednesday, we bring you the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. And I'm honored and privileged for the opportunity to be able to bring you this NFL Week 10 of the 2025-26 season inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Head there for sales and service today and let them know that DT sent you their way. Of course, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. You could find the Wildcat open 7 days a week. You could dine in, or you can order takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. So make sure you get in touch with them today. Let them know that DT sent you their way. We are here for NFL Week 10, as I stated. And for those of you that are new to the channel here, we appreciate you being here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you for being with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. And here in this edition of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, like I said, NFL Week 10 coming your way. If you have a question, send it over to us. Respond to this specific video so that I see it, and I am happy to answer your questions. So whatever questions you have coming up on your mind, send them over here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We're going to start with Thursday Night Football. Then we'll head to the Berlin game. We'll go throughout the rest of Sunday's slate into Sunday Night Football and Monday night. The teams that are off this week: the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Titans. So make sure you make a note of that so that you don't have anybody on those teams, so that you don't waste a spot in your starting lineup. So make sure you're setting your lineups, folks. The people get up for the draft, but then some people forget to set their lineups. I did it one time this week, or this season, I should say. Not happy about it. You know, when you tell yourself a couple hours before, okay, I got to make sure that my lineup is set, and then all of a sudden you forget. So do not forget to set your lineups. Set them early, and, you know, do yourself a favor when you're thinking about it today. You know, put your lineup together, and then it's, you know, pretty much in place. And then if something happens, somebody gets injured, somebody's not starting, or you want to go pick somebody else up, then most of your lineup is already set, as opposed to having that last minute freak out and then trying to put all of it together. And I run multiple leagues, so, you know, it's not just me saying, okay, I have to set one of my lineups. I have to set multiple lineups every single week. So if you're like me and you're in more than one league, you definitely want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position possible to know kind of what you have, where you're leaning, where you're looking to go, and to make sure that you have things set up ahead of time so that you don't run into a snag and then end up missing out on something. Nobody wants to have you do that, and nobody wants to play against a team. Like, people that really care about fantasy, none of us want to play against a sitting duck, right? You know, where there's a team that forgot to set their lineup, and so they got, you know, 4 injured players, and they got 2 guys on bye, and it's just a wasted week. So, you know, we take this thing seriously. We care about it, so make sure that you set your lineups and get everything together. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you set your lineup. We're here to help you take a look at, you know, who should be on your bench, who should be starting, who you should drop, who you should pick up. You know, we answer your trade questions as well. So if you have a question for us, send it over to the live feed on the video on YouTube or the video on Facebook, as well as you can send me a message on our Podbean channel, wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. You can send it over on that feed as well. And as long as I see it, we'll be happy to answer those questions. So send them over to us. If you're watching the show on playback and you have a question, then I would just suggest that you send me that question to, you know, send it to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT. You can give us a private message. You can DM us on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT or on X, the former Twitter, at CallDT. So, however you want to connect with the show, just make sure that you do it so that we can answer your questions, because I'm always happy to do that, but I want to make sure that we see them and that we don't miss anything. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Maddie said, good morning. I think Breece Hall touches will decrease now after he wanted out. Well, I don't know. I mean, he's there and he's their best, they do have other options, but I mean, if Breece Hall wanted to get out of the Jets and he didn't get out, well, you got to spend the rest of your season working your tail off, right? Because now you're looking at an opportunity to maybe be with another team in the off season, and who wants to be with somebody who's not working hard, right? So, I mean, whatever he does, he's going to have to get after it, Maddie. He's going to have to work hard at it, and it might be an audition to go somewhere else, or he might be entrenched there, but, Breece is not a bad player. The Jets are a bad team right now. And unfortunately, if you're not where you want to be, but you're under contract, you got to abide by the contract. He's an unrestricted free agent after this season. So, they didn't move him yet, but which is kind of crazy, because if you don't move Breece Hall before the trade deadline, then Breece is obviously just going to, he could simply walk at the end of this season. So, and he's not making a ton of money, right, in his rookie deal comparative to what the NFL players get paid. In the first season, his cap hit was $1.6 million, and then it was a little over $2 million, and it was about $2.5 million, and now it's $4.348 million. So, it's chump change for the round 2, number 36 pick overall, when it essentially comes down to it, because these guys are making buku dollars. So, maybe somebody isn't looking at Breece to pick, and I can understand why maybe the Jets tried to shop Breece, right? And maybe people were saying, we don't want a guy who's on the last year of his contract, because then we're going to pick him up, and then we could literally have him for the rest of this year, and then he could leave. So, or maybe the Jets were asking too much. Maybe they asked for a first rounder for Breece Hall as well. They got him in the second round, so maybe they were asking for a second rounder and people didn't want to give a second round. I mean, those behind closed doors conversations could be a lot of different things why it didn't work out. Or it could simply be the Jets saying, hey, we want to be able to do something. We don't trust in our quarterback, and we want our fans to buy tickets, and at least we know that Breece can run the ball, so we're going to keep Breece around for a minute or two as we, work on this rebuild after this season. So, it could be a lot of different thoughts, but ultimately, if they got rid of Breece Hall, then they'd be spending the rest of this season just, I don't even know what the heck they'd be doing, because they'd have little to nothing to really have to show out there, right? I mean, the offense isn't moving, and at least when you're running it's a lot easier to hand the ball off than it is to try and complete a pass. So, you keep Breece Hall to keep the fans in the seats maybe. So Maddie said NBA gets more money and NFL takes more of a beating on these bodies. So, well, the NBA does have balloon contracts. You're not wrong about that. The NBA does make a lot of money. There's guys that you probably have never heard of in the NBA that are making insane amounts of money. Like, there's people out there making mega deal money in the NBA that are non-household names. And, because you look at the tiers of the NBA, and Dave Paziak and I talk about it. Got to have Dave on the show again soon so we could discuss all this stuff. But let's get into the Thursday night game, and we will circle the game that we're talking about so you will know which game we're on. So if you're watching this on playback and you're like, oh man, I got to get to that LA San Fran game, and we're up at the top here, then you fast forward a little bit until we do this little thing and we circle that game. So there you go, and that's how you know where we're at. We work top to bottom, left to right on your screen. So we'll start with the Raiders going up against the Denver Broncos, and always giving that love to Chris Berman. The divisional matchup between the Raiders and the Broncos. The Jaguars did something going into this season that they just did before the trade deadline, which is they play a team and then they take one of the players from that team that they played. It's like they go up against them and go, I like that guy. And then they end up taking that player. They did it in the, like I said, they did it going into the season, and they did it to the Raiders this past week. They went up against Jacoby Myers, who's a great possession receiver, did it for the Patriots, and obviously had some moments with the Raiders. And the Jaguars played the Raiders in Las Vegas, defeated them on the road 30-29 in overtime, and then shortly after went and took Jacoby Myers off of their team. So, and I do want to make a note here of the trades that happen right before we get into this game. Now that I'm talking about Jacoby Myers, I might as well give you some trades, the ones that I saw come across yesterday and then I put out here. Cornerback Ahmad Sauce Gardner traded from the New York Jets to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round draft picks and wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. The first-rounders are in 2026 and 27. The trade I was talking about with the Jaguars and the Raiders, Jacoby Myers going to the Jaguars for a 4th round and a 6th round pick in the 2026 NFL draft. So the Jaguars giving up 2 picks on the last day, which is a heck of a lot better than, I mean, maybe that's why they have all these 6th round picks, so that they can let them go. The Jaguars in recent history have seemingly been overly obsessed with 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks. So giving up a 4th and a 6th rounder for a guy who could be your number 1 wide receiver, I don't hate that at all. Like I said, Jaguars making moves during the season like they want to win now and building toward the future. So I respect it. Linebacker Logan Wilson traded to the Dallas Cowboys from the Cincinnati Bengals in exchange for a 2026 7th round draft pick. I love this. The Cincinnati Bengals, who aren't playing well and things aren't going well on their side of it, I don't love that for them, but I love the fact that the Cowboys bring in a linebacker where they've needed help. And, I mean, remember Sean Lee and the team went as he went in recent history. Well, now we look at the fact of having this Logan Wilson trade to the Dallas Cowboys. They get a linebacker, and they only give up a 7th round draft pick. And then we look at outside linebacker Draymond Jones, who is traded to the Baltimore Ravens from the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, another team that's not playing well, so they give up one of their star players from Ohio State originally. So a 2026 conditional 5th round pick. And so the Titans get a 5th round pick, but it's a conditional pick. If the Ravens make the playoffs, then it'll become a 4th round pick. So something good to be had there. They give up outside linebacker Draymond Jones to the Ravens, and the Ravens giving them a 2026 conditional 5th rounder that becomes a 4th rounder if that former Titan and the Ravens make it to the postseason this season. Wide receiver Rashid Shaheed leaving the New Orleans Saints to go to the Seattle Seahawks. The Saints getting a 4th and 5th round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. This is a big one with the Seahawks offense already moving, and you already got a guy like Jackson Smith in Jigba. And then defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. I think some people were talking about this in the offseason. Why did the Cowboys not get him earlier? What it was why didn't the Cowboys, working out a deal for Micah Parsons, they said allegedly, and I say allegedly because I was not a part of this conversation and they were not my sources. And if they're not my sources, then I can't confirm them, right? So in the world of honesty, allegedly, the Cowboys and the Jets talked about Micah Parsons, but the Cowboys wanted Quinnen Williams and the Jets didn't want to give him up. And now, ironically, if it was true, well, defensive tackle Quinnen Williams now down the road is a Cowboy, traded to the Dallas Cowboys from the Jets, and the Jets giving up a 2026 second round, or the Jets getting, a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 first round pick. So the Jets saying, hey, if you want Quinnen Williams, Dallas, you're going to have to give us some good stuff. Guy's been in the league for a few seasons here, and so I think this is great. Normally when it's early on, they got to give up the big stuff, but Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, going to the Cowboys, and the Jets getting a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 first round pick. So if you're paying attention, the Jets now have a first round pick outside of their own. They have a first round pick in 2026. Outside of their own, they have 2 first round picks in 2027 and a second round pick in 2026. They are stacking up them picks and building toward the future. A lot of first round picks. So we did get a message on X from at Don't Kill Me For It. Interesting name here. He said, would you trade Gibbs for Kyron Williams and T. Higgins? I need wide receiver help. I only have A.J. Brown and Rashee Rice. I'm stacked at running back. I got Saquon, I got Gibbs, Chase Brown, and Breece Hall. So would I trade Gibbs for Kyron Williams and T. Higgins? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Because, I mean, you said you need wide receiver help. You're getting Kyron Williams. It's not like you're giving up a good running back and gaining nothing. So I would be okay with that trade. I mean, I'd like to see some other trades that you would have out there, but I'm okay with that trade knowing that Joe Flacco's doing his thing in Cincinnati and definitely getting the ball out there to their receivers. So I'm okay with that trade, and I appreciate the question. If you have a question when it comes to fantasy football, send it over to us. We just got one that came in here, and it's really funny because the gentleman on X that just sent us a message that included the words Saquon and also included the words Rashee for Rashee Rice, and we got another one from Incognito that has similar names here. So Maddie said, will Sauce play against the Falcons or the next game? We'll see, Maddie. You're right. You got to pass the physical. Sometimes they wait you a game. Sometimes they throw you right out there. I think it's all with comfortability with the team and you know what the coach decides. Incognito said, trade away Saquon for Rashee and Bo Nix. I need a quarterback. Incognito, that's rough, man. So, let me see here. Do you not have any quarterbacks? Let's see what we got here. What QBs do you have, Incognito? And what running backs do you have? You know, the more information you give me, the better, because if you're going to trade away somebody, I don't want to just say yes or no, do that trade, and then look at your roster and be like, man, you traded away. You needed a wide receiver, you needed a quarterback, and then you ended up trading away the one running back that you have, right? So, you know, send me more information, and Incognito, I'll be awaiting that. I think you've subscribed, but if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So, let's get to that first game. The Raiders at the Broncos. The Raiders no longer have Jacoby Myers. So, what will these Raiders do? Leaning on Brock Bowers. I mean, how about the Jaguars doing that? Going like, hey, you almost beat us with Brock and Jacoby. Now we're going to take it and make you put it all on Trey Tucker and Brock. So, I mean, they still have Trey Tucker. He's done some good things this year, right? Every quarterback has their guy, and seems like with Geno Smith, there's more of Trey Tucker action. But, you know, in this last game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, we go back and look at how things went the Raiders lost 30-29. They went for 2, and it fell incomplete thanks to the Jaguars' defense knocking the ball down. Didn't even get a chance to get to the end zone in that game. As far as how teams performed offensively, we have, or how the Vegas Raiders performed. Gentry had 13 for 42, 3.2 yards a carry. He did have a touchdown, 5 catches, 5 targets, 47 yards for that receiving touchdown being in that. Brock Bowers had 3 touchdowns against the Jaguars, 13 targets, 12 catches, 127 yards. Dude was bonkers. I mean, when he plays, you play him. Jacoby, again, possession guy, right? Good to get you PPR stuff. 4 receptions on 6 targets, 23 yards. Trey Tucker, 4 targets, 3 catches, 38 yards. Probably going to get more. Michael Mayer got 7 targets, 3 catches. So they're still using Michael Mayer with Brock Bowers. They're probably going to use him more now that they don't have Jacoby Myers. And like I said, see an uptick in Trey Tucker. Tyler Lockett's there, but he hasn't done anything. So I would say for this matchup between the Raiders and the Denver Broncos, we're going to have to give a little look at, I would say put Ashton Genty out there. I mean, listen, it's the Broncos defense, so I'm going to temper your expectations a little bit in this one, but if you're going to put any Raiders out there, it's Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. You could put Trey Tucker out there because he's playing the Broncos. I might want to flex him out in this one, make him my wide receiver 3, but I like Brock. If you're in a deep league, Michael Mayer, maybe you look to him in this game, but again, they're playing the Broncos and they're on the road. So your best bet is Brock Bowers. Second is Ashton Genty. Third is Trey Tucker. Fourth, I'd probably say, is Michael Mayer in this game. For the Denver Broncos, looking at what they've done up to this point, the team is 7-2. They played very well, and they are on a 6-game winning streak after losing 2 in a row at the Colts and at the Chargers. They defeated the Titans to start the season, lost those two I just mentioned, and then have won 6 in a row. Bengals at home, at the Eagles, Jets, Giants, Cowboys, and at the Texans. They won 18-15. We know that their defense is good, and we know that they're going to give Bo Nix an opportunity to go win the game. So Bo did not have a great day, 18-37. He did have 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 173 yards. R.J. Harvey, 2 carries for 5 yards. Bo Nix, 3 carries for 36. Dobbs had 15 carries for 61 yards. He was the one to write home about. But R.J. Harvey, 5 targets out of the backfield, 5 catches, 51 yards, led the whole team, and had a touchdown. Cortland Sutton had a touchdown in the game as well. Troy Franklin, 10 targets from his former Oregon teammate who joined him in the NFL at the same time. 10 targets, 4 catches, 27 yards for Troy Franklin. So, in this matchup, I would tell you to go with R.J. Harvey as a flex. In a deep league, he might be your 2, but hopefully he's your 3 at running back. I like Cortland Sutton, and I like Troy Franklin in the game because, you think about that, right? A guy gets to play with his former teammate that he already knows how to get the ball to. They know each other's tendencies, and now here they are on the same team, speaking of Bo Nix and Troy Franklin, and we're seeing an uptick in Troy Franklin, which you shouldn't be surprised about due to that relationship. The Berlin game, the Atlanta Falcons up against the Indianapolis Colts in Berlin. And so this game, the capital of Germany, we will see this. So the Berlin game for the NFL, the stadium that they will be playing in this game, American football in Germany, that stadium that we're going to see them in is, I want to make sure, so I'm actually taking a look at the NFL in German as I'm on the website here taking a peek at some of the things that are going on here. So that's crazy. Just seeing that. I mean, it's really cool, though, that they say, okay, if we're going to play overseas, then we're going to put it in your language as well, which is pretty awesome. So I was taking a look at that just now. But the stadium that they will be in for this game, so this is going to be Germany preparing to host an NFL game for the 4th consecutive year. This time, Berlin will take center stage, following Munich in 2022 and 2024, and Frankfurt in 2023. We're now seeing this next game that is going to be here in the country of Germany. And it's going to be the Falcons up against the Colts. The Colts are giving up a home game to have this game here. And so the stadium that's going to be hosting it will be played at the Olympiastadion Berlin, the home of the Hertha BSC football team. And so the stadium served as the setting for the American Bowl Series, which was held between 1990 and 94, in which the Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, and Buffalo Bills participated. So this game is going to be Sunday, November 9th between the Falcons and the Colts. It'll be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure that you set your reminder that this game is kicking off at 9:30 in the morning so that you do not forget to set your lineup for the Falcons and the Colts. So let's take a look at this matchup between the Falcons and the Colts. And the Falcons being the road team in this game. The Atlanta Falcons, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, some things are reoccurring. And, I mean, at least we can say that, habits, when something, good, bad, or indifferent, when there is a habit, at least it helps us figure things out, right? So you can look at this and say to yourself, okay, even though the Atlanta Falcons have been all over the place, that's been their consistency, right? Is that they're consistently inconsistent. You can't trust them. Where on the other side of it, the Indianapolis Colts have been very consistent. They've been very good this season, and they're one of the top teams in the entire AFC, whereas the Falcons have lost 3 in a row. After winning 3 of 4, they've now dropped 3 straight. They only lost to the Patriots by 1 point, though. And I say only lost because the Patriots are a good team this year. Mike Vrabel, who I thought should have been the coach last year, they made the decision to bring him in this year, and the team's already playing better. And I told you that I thought Drake May would have a good second season. I thought, hey, I think Drake May will improve this year. I thought Caleb Williams would have the opposite of a sophomore slump, and they're both doing well. So the New England Patriots 7-2, but they only win by 1 point over the Falcons, and the Falcons scored 9 points and allowed none in the final quarter to try and get this game on the road, but they did not. Interesting here, the Patriots only scored 3 points in the second half, and the Falcons scored 9 after the Patriots being up in the first half by a score of 21-14. So this was a close game for these two teams. We'll take a look at how the Falcons have done in this most recent game. Michael Penix Jr. back as the starting quarterback, 22 of 37, 221, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Jonathan, I saw your question, so I'll get to it in a second here. So Penix, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bijan, 12 carries, 46 yards, 3.8 yards a carry. Drake London, man, this guy has definitely seen an uptick with Michael Penix being in there. I told you I thought that would happen with this offense. Drake was targeted 14 times, 9 catches, 118 yards, had all 3 touchdowns from Penix. Bijan, 10 targets out of the backfield, 8 catches, 50 yards to go with his 46. So underwhelming on the ground, 96 yards overall. PPR, he had 8 catches. Kyle Pitts Sr., 7 targets, 4 catches, 38 yards. So still, another reputable day for him. So if you're going to play anybody in this game, it would be Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, in my opinion. Tyler Algier has kind of fallen off once again. I don't know if I would play Daniel Jones in this matchup. I mean, Atlanta's defense is not something that I'm sitting here going, oh yeah, okay, I feel great about them, but 5 turnovers in their recent game for the Colts, so probably stay away from Daniel Jones here. Jonathan Taylor is a must. You all know that. I don't have to tell you that, but I will. Should definitely be putting Jonathan Taylor out there. They lost that game at the Steelers 27-20. And when you look at it, I mean, Daniel Jones, 3 interceptions, and he also fumbled the ball 3 times and lost 2 of them. So he was responsible for 5 turnovers once again. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to keep doing it, right? But Jonathan Taylor is your best bet. Daniel Jones did have a rushing touchdown, but Alec Pierce, I've looked at him as a flex guy. He got involved. 13 targets, 6 catches, 115 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., 12 targets, 9 catches, 115 yards. Josh Downs had a touchdown, 6 catches, 9 targets, 57 yards. Jonathan Taylor caught the 2 thrown to him out of the backfield. So I like Jonathan Taylor in the game. I like Michael Pittman. I like Alec Pierce as a flex. And I still like Tyler Warren, who had 5 catches on 7 targets for 26 yards. So let's take a look at Jonathan's question. Got to take Bucky off the IR. Who would you drop? Okay. And he wrote, not Rashad White, meant Wendell. Okay. So who would you drop? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Jamison Williams, or Wendell Robinson? And you got to take Bucky off of the IR. Of those 3, Jonathan, I would tell you, just because this team has been awful. And he might get more involved now with Mariota coming in, but of the ones you gave me, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I mean, Washington is a shell of itself. They've dealt with injuries and weeks lost with Jaden Daniels, which unfortunately now there'll be more. We've seen them have to play for weeks without Terry McLaurin. I mean, this is a team that I thought early in this season, before the preseason even happened, I thought Washington could make it to the Super Bowl. But that was based on being healthy. And I obviously don't see that anymore, unfortunately. The Saints at the Panthers. So, I would drop Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I am going to do one thing here, though, just to give you a little bit more information, Jonathan, and that's if we look statistically at Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, He has 9 games he's been in, 94 carries, 440 yards, 4 touchdowns. If we're looking at his game log, he had 2 touchdowns. He had 14 carries, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the game at the Chargers. And then he had a touchdown in the first game of the season against the Giants and a touchdown against the Raiders in their third game of the season. But if I go back and I look at... Okay, so that was with Jaden. Because what I was going to say is, when we look at a backup quarterback, sometimes they'll lean more on their running. Like, I think they lean typically on, running the ball and their tight end, right? Depending on who it is. I mean, there's certain guys that take over like a Joe Flacco and he's still going to get the ball out to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and whatnot. But I wanted to see, like, is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is he having his best days with Marcus Mariota with having a quarterback who's a backup lean on his running back? But in actuality, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's best days were with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, outside of the one game against the Raiders where he had a touchdown on the ground. I mean, it was 8 carries, 26 yards, and a touchdown. So, but Chris Rodriguez Jr., we saw him used a lot at the end of the game with Mariota. So I would say Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, his 3 best games this season, the 3 games that he scored in, 2 of those 3 were with Jaden Daniels. I wanted to just make sure that those best days that he had weren't with Marcus Mariota, which they weren't outside of one, but his best day was with Jaden, and 2 out of the 3 were with Jaden. So, yeah, I would say Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, it's okay to let him go, bringing back... Who are you bringing? Bucky off of IR. So, Saints at the Panthers. Let's get into this matchup. This is an NFC South matchup, and we're going to start things off with the road team, as we always do, with the New Orleans Saints, and then we'll head over to the Carolina Panthers. The New Orleans Saints, we look at their backfield. Kendre Miller, the ACL injury, got him on injured reserve. Alvin Kamara, he had 17 yards most recently. Tyler Shuck is the starting quarterback, the rookie coming from Louisville. And Juwan Johnson still getting involved. He was utilized more with Spencer Rattler than he was with quarterbacks of the past. And I've been telling you for years that what I saw out of Juwan Johnson, I thought, hey, this is a good tight end. This is a good option for fantasy. But he has to have a quarterback that looks to him consistently. And with all of the constant, musical chairs of quarterback at New Orleans, we weren't seeing consistency with Juwan because we weren't seeing consistency at quarterback. And then Spencer Rattler came in, and he seems to want to get the ball to Juwan Johnson, and he has. And now with Tyler Shuck taking over, it's good to see that they're still getting the ball to Juwan Johnson. They don't have Rashid Shaheed anymore, so that's something to make note of here. That Brandon Cooks in his return to New Orleans, maybe this is an uptick for him. Maybe it's more love for Juwan Johnson. Maybe it's more love for Chris Olave. Maybe it's some love for Taysom Hill, who's playing all over the place, right? Play quarterback, play tight end. So he might have to play quarterback again this season if Shuck can't get it done because Rattler's already been replaced. So let's take a look at New Orleans most recently. And Jonathan said, do we think Bucky actually suits up this week? Feels like they've been very vague. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this. You have to monitor, and I tell people this all the time. Make sure you're constantly monitoring your injured players because a guy like Bucky Irving, they might make it a game time decision. So I'm looking up some of the latest news here on Bucky. And it's uncertain, sidelined with foot and shoulder injuries. So, yeah, I mean, I would say that there's some uncertainty still here on Bucky. I'm taking a look at some more notes on this. Just giving you an updated thought, Jonathan. So, yeah, I mean, it still says unknown. So, I would just monitor it. keep monitoring his status, because the status is still unclear. There's no definitive thing. And, that also can be helpful to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Because you get a team to get ready for Bucky and not know if they're going to have Bucky or not. And it's funny because we're talking about two NFC South teams, and the Saints and the Panthers, and obviously another NFC South team, the Bucs. And the Bucs got a good game. They got New England coming to town. It's the battle of the two former Brady-led teams, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. So, if you're looking at the Saints side of things, the Saints have won one game this year at home against the Giants, 26-14. They lost 4 before it and 4 after it. The Saints are awful. But you focus on how bad the Jets are and how bad the Titans are, and some might forget how bad the Saints truly have been this season. Now, Taysom Hill's running the ball again. Most recently, 4 carries, 30 yards, 7.5 yards a carry. Kamara, 6 carries, 14 yards. Rashid Shaheed led the team, and he's not on the team anymore. So, if I'm going to tell you to play anybody in this matchup, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, and I'll give some love to Alvin Kamara, but I'm underwhelmed by him at the moment. He had 1 catch on 3 targets this past game, 6 carries for 14 yards. So, Kamara, we might see that era ending in New Orleans as the team goes forward. Let's take a look at the win for the Panthers on the road at the Packers, 16-13. Carolina, Bryce Young came back 11 for 20, 102, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Rico Dowdle, he looked like a non-factor in Dallas. And at Carolina, when he played his old team, when they went up against the Cowboys this year, he smacked them, had an awesome day, like best day of his career arguably. And then here he is in this game on the road at Green Bay, 25 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5.2 yards carry. Teteroa McMillan continues to get involved. This is the Saints. They're bad. So I'm putting Rico Dowdle out there. I'm putting Teteroa McMillan out there. I might look at flexing Xavier Legette, but definitely Rico Dowdle and Teteroa McMillan for sure need to be out there for your fantasy team this week. And I'm going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, we'll talk about the Giants at the Bears. Oh my. Right after this, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942. And tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant is different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout delivery and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City that you just heard from, available to you Monday through Saturday for sales and service. Go and check them out at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. NFL Week 10 inside the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. NFL Week 10 of the 2025-26 season. Proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Let's hop into the next game that we have on our docket, that being the Giants and the Bears. And so if you have a question, and we've already gotten some of your questions, which we appreciate so very much. If you have a question, make sure that you send it over to us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Always proud to answer your questions. So we did get a question here from Juan. So Juan, I'm going to be answering your question first here. And Let's see. So, did you send the question here to us twice? Yeah. Okay. So, Juan, I got your question and I appreciate it. So, make sure to subscribe while you're here and hit that notification bell. Always appreciate having new people come on to the broadcast. And we appreciate all of our returnees like Maddie and Jonathan and so on and so forth. So, Juan, to answer your question, who for my wide receiver 2, 3, and flex spot? Deebo Samuel, Quentin Johnson, Tez Johnson, Demario Douglas, Parker Washington of the Jags, and then running back Trey Henderson, and then we have Darren Mercado or Zach Charbonnet. Got Devontae Adams at wide receiver 1, Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs at running backs 1 and 2. So, who for your wide receiver 2 and 3? That's a good question. Well, the Lions are playing Washington, and Washington's been terrible. So I don't know if I would go Deebo. Quentin Johnston, that's Sunday Night Football, gives you some insurance later on in the day. So, one, I would say Quentin Johnston for one of your wide receivers. Let's take a look at the rest of them. So we have Tez. All right, so we have I just got Tez's rookie card. So I'm going to be bringing that to trade night. Let's take a look here. So Tez by the numbers. Just want to look at his numbers here. Okay, so Tez scored in a couple of the recent weeks here coming out of October. Demario Douglas, Parker Washington. The Jaguars are playing the Texans. I would say Quentin Johnston and let me get a quick peek at something here. Good question, Juan. Appreciate the question. And I appreciate the information. Like I said, more information is better. Can never send too much, and giving me your entire roster there helped me to really take a look at all of this. Well, Tez Johnson led the team because it's him and Emeka Ibuka, right? So, and we know that Ibuka is going to get utilized. So, I mean, they're playing the Patriots. Parker Washington is a toss-up because he is getting utilized, but is it consistent is the question when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars passing game. And they just brought in Jacoby Myers. So if I look at the game log for Parker, yeah. I mean, I would say Quentin Johnston and Tez Johnson for your wide receivers this week. And then your flex spot. You got Charbonnet. And Seattle's playing Arizona. All right, you have Travion Henderson. Okay. I would look at Charbonnet as my flex. Some thought on Deebo. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. Juan, make sure to subscribe. Appreciate the question. But yeah, so I'd say Quentin Johnston and Tez Johnson, and then I would probably say Charbonnet is your flex over Demario Douglas, Parker Washington, Travion Henderson, Demercado, and Deebo. But I don't know. I kind of got a feeling, because remember, the Lions have lost some games this year. They've made you scratch your head a couple times at least, and Washington needs somebody to do something, and you could just hand the ball to Deebo. So I'm going to say Charbonnet, but I do have some thought on Deebo potentially at that flex spot. Jonathan said, thanks everyone. Hit them likes. Also need one running back and two flex between Singletary, Mason, Wendell, Diggs, Dubs, JMO, full PPR. All right, Jonathan, let's look at this. Thank you for saying hit them likes. I appreciate you. Need one. Appreciate the support. Need one running back and two flex. Between Singletary and Mason. between Singletary and Mason. Well, the Giants are playing the Bears, which is the game that we're talking about right now. So that's a good segue. And Devin Singletary, in the loss 34-24 at home to the Niners, he had 8 carries for 43 yards, 5.4 yards a carry. He caught both passes out of the backfield thrown his way. So, let's see, Jonathan. Between Singletary and Mason, I'm not a fan of Mason. Let's look at Mason most recently for the Minnesota Vikings. In their win at the Lions, 27-24. He had 10 carries for 36 yards. Aaron Jones had 9 for 78. And he caught the only pass thrown to him out of the backfield, speaking of Jordan Mason. I mean, it's good to have JJ back, for sure. When Minnesota's playing Baltimore, and Devin Singletary's playing the Bears. Of those two, Jonathan, I would say Singletary, if I had to pick. He said, Mason has good matchup. Jones is dealing with shoulder issues. Wonder if he will get more touches this week. Mason doesn't necessarily have a good matchup. I mean, Baltimore's been underwhelming this season, but I mean, it's a good question, but I would say this. I would say monitor Jones on the injury report. Mason over Singletary if Jones stays. If Jones isn't available, then obviously that boosts up Jordan Mason. I mean, between the two this week, though, it's a good question because it's causing me to think a lot about these two matchups. I mean, Baltimore, let's see. Baltimore's allowed 41 points, 17 points, 38, 37, 44, 17, 16, and 6. Okay. In Chicago, they've allowed 27, 52, 14, 24, 24, 14, 30, and 42. So they've allowed a lot of points too. I mean, it's tough. I'm going to say Mason by a hair right now over Singletary. I know I said Singletary at first, but I'm going back and forth with it. I'm mulling it around. So I'm going to say Mason by a hair. What was your other question here? You need 2 flex. So you got Wendell Robinson, Stephon Diggs. And then you have Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs is on Monday Night Football. That's a good insurance policy against Philadelphia. So I don't hate that. I mean, if we take a look at Romeo Doubs recently here, in that loss to the Panthers at home, Doubs still led the team, 10 targets, 7 catches, 91 yards. So I would say, and George, I'm going to get to your question. I saw it here, so I'm not forgetting about you. Just doing them in order. So Jonathan said, I need 2 flex. So I'm going to say, of the flex that you gave me, I'm going to say Diggs and Doubs for the flex, Jonathan. I mean, I like Wendell as well, and I told people, don't be letting go of Wendell Robinson. With Jack Sedart coming in and Malik Neighbors coming out, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. And now all of a sudden people want to talk about Wendell Robinson, right? And I'm not saying you, Jonathan. I'm just saying, like, there's people that I told you to really just wait when A.J. Brown didn't have a good week 1. Wait on Wendell Robinson. Wait on Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. So George, I think that you have, but if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get to George's question. One at flex: Goddard, Pierce, Tez, Malik Washington, and Singletary, Gainwell, and Isaiah Davis to the flex one. So you have all these guys available for flex? Is this what you're asking me, George? Which one of all of these would you flex? I'm going to say Alec Pierce and then Tez. So, George, from what you gave, I would say Alec let me get this right. Alec Pierce and then Tez. All available for one flex. Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, I would say Alec Pierce and then Tez for you. Evan, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Answering Evan's question now because it's next up. Need trade help. Lost 5 running backs to injury. Man, I'm sorry. I have Vidal, Bam, Tootin, and Hampton on IR. Got offered either Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker III plus Kareem Hunt for DK. My other wide receivers are Rice, Trey Tucker, Jerry Jeudy. Okay. And then Justin Jefferson. All right. So I think that's what you're saying here when you put Jettas. So you have Justin Jefferson, from what I'm understanding, and Evan, if I'm wrong here, then just send it over to me. But you have, okay, so you have Rashee Rice, Justin Jefferson, Trey Tucker, Jerry Jeudy. And you got offered Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker plus Kareem Hunt for DK. So does that mean it's Aaron Jones plus Kareem, Kenneth Walker plus Kareem? Or is it Aaron Jones or Kenneth plus Kareem? So just give me a little more information on that. Is it Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker and either one of them plus Kareem Hunt? Or is it Aaron Jones straight up for DK and then Kenneth Walker and Kareem for DK? Just give me a little more clarity on that and I can help you answer that, Evan, but make sure to subscribe. And then Jonathan said, as an Eagles fan, I like Dubs. So he said it's either Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker plus Kareem Hunt for DK. Half PPR. I would probably take K9 plus Hunt because Aaron Jones has been injured. Yeah. I like Basil Tootin, though. I really do. I'm happy that you have him. So, Evan, I would go Kenneth Walker in that trade over Aaron Jones. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And then Taco, make sure you subscribe as well. Appreciate you being here with us today. So if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's take a look at what Taco had to say. 5-4 PPR. Got offered Puka plus Harold Fannin Jr. Evan said, feels like K9 plus Hunt is a decent way to fix my running back problem for now. Yeah. Listen, Seattle's rolling, man. And Kareem Hunt, you already have Kenneth Walker. If Kareem does well, that's gravy, right? That's gravy on your mashed potatoes. Your mashed potatoes right now are Kenneth Walker. I don't trust Aaron Jones to stay healthy, unfortunately. I hope he does. I don't trust of him being consistent where Kenneth Walker is the guy in Seattle. But make sure to subscribe. Appreciate you, man. Taco, 5-4 full PPR. Got offered Puka plus Fannin Jr. for McBride plus Derrick Henry. I have Josh Allen, Gibbs, Henry, Rice, A.J. Brown, McBride. Flex is a question mark. Do I take it? I have Trey Benson and Henderson on the bench as well for running back 2 options. So you have Trey Benson and Travion Henderson. So you have Trey. Let's see here, Taco. Got offered Puka plus Fannin for McBride and Henry. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, Taco. No. You're giving up McBride and Henry? No. Because you'd be giving up a tight end for a tight end, but I'd take McBride over Fannin. And then Henry, all you got to do is hand him the ball, as opposed to Puka, you have to find a way to get him the ball. And they've proven that Devontae Adams and other options can work for Matty Stafford. So I would say no, because you're giving up what I think is going to provide more consistency to you for kind of just rolling the dice and hoping for things. So no, I would keep McBride and keep Derrick. If you're talking about Derrick Henry, if that's the Henry that you're talking about, then I would say keep it. Let's go to the Giants at the Bears in this game. So we'll jump over to the Giants at the Bears. Like I said, the Bears giving up points this season. Their defense hasn't really been a threat. They've been a good team though. They're 5-3. The Giants are 2-7. So, Jackson Dart, he plays well even when the team loses, fantasy-wise. So I'm okay with you putting Jackson Dart out there. Like, think about it. If you have Joe Flacco, or you have team quarterbacks, so you had like Cincinnati, so you had Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow, all that, and your backup is the Giants, Jackson Dart, then not a bad week to play him. If you have Dak Prescott, your backup's Jackson Dart, not a bad week. If you have Pat Mahomes, your backup's Jackson Dart. And hopefully you don't have anyone from the Titans that you're leaning on your team to try and get you to win this season. So I don't think this is a bad week for Jackson Dart to go out there. And Tyrone Tracy Jr., he's back, but Singletary out-touched him here. Not in that way. Don't be gross. So, my mind goes dirty before your mind goes dirty. I'm prepared. So Bo Collins here. Bo Collins questionable with a neck injury. God willing, he will be okay. But I think Wendell Robinson, I'm okay with you playing Wendell Robinson in this game. Devin Singletary, hopefully as a 2, low-end 2, high-end 3 at running back. Tyrone Tracy, I would put behind Devin Singletary. And then Theo Johnson, he's had 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games. So, I'm not against you putting Theo out there. And I'd look to potentially put out Jackson Dart. For Chi-Town, DeAndre Swift, he hurt me this past week. Dude's questionable with a groin injury. God willing, he will be okay. And Taco, I'm going to take a look at what you just wrote to me here in a second. So I do want to I want to end this point here with Chicago. So let's go to Chicago. Most recently in that win, 47-42 over the Bungles on the road. Chi-Town doing it. Tyson Bagent, he completed a pass. DJ Moore, he completed a touchdown pass. The wide receiver did. Cole Kmet tried a pass, didn't complete it. Caleb Williams went 20-34, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 280 yards. Kyle Menengai had 26 carries, 176 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. Britton Brown had a touchdown on the ground. DJ Moore had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown for the wide receiver. That's crazy. And he had 4 catches on 6 targets for 72 yards. That's nuts. Colston Loveland, man, I love this rookie. 7 targets, 6 catches, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game. Olamide Zaccheaus, he had a touchdown. Caleb Williams had a receiving touchdown on that play from DJ Moore. So, cool stuff here. Roma Dunze, 3 targets, no catches, and that's nuts. Such an awesome game for all these players on Chicago, not named Roma Dunze. So, that's kind of sad. And so, I would say that in this game against the Giants at home in Chicago, you could play Caleb Williams again if he's your backup and you have Pat Mahomes or something like that, and Patty's off this week, then maybe you play Caleb Williams. But I'm not against you playing Caleb Williams in this game. They've been able to move the ball. You got to play Menengai and you got to play DJ Moore. I'd look at flexing out Olamide Zaccheaus, especially because they're playing the Giants. And Roma Dunze, listen, we'll see. I would still look to put him out there, even though it was a weird week where you got trick plays going on and he's not even involved in a regular play. Colston Loveland, you definitely got to put him out there. The rookie tight end has been really, really, really good. So make sure you get him out there. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Chicago. I think they're doing some really good things. Taco said lineup would be Josh Allen, Gibbs, Benson, Puka, Rice, Fannin, A.J. Brown. Do you think a tight end and running back 2 hit matters if I'm getting arguably the best player in fantasy football. Especially when my current long-term flex is a big hole going forward. So you're saying getting the best player in fantasy football is Puka? Is that what you're saying here? Because now your running backs are going to be Gibbs and Benson. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I mean, if you want to do it, if you want to roll the dice, you can roll the dice, but I wouldn't do it. I would hang tight with where you are. Yeah. I mean, Puka recently, 8 targets, 7 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Adams had just 2 less catches, and he had 2 touchdowns. Keep in mind, Puka was going up against the Saints as well. I mean, Puka this season, he has 2 100-yard games. He's got a 95-yard game and an 85-yard. He has 3 100-yard games and at least 100 yards. And then he has an 85 and a 95 and a 91. He only has 3 touchdowns. So he's had 4 games with 10 catches or more, which has been big. I mean, I don't like you giving up Derrick Henry, though. That's the problem. It's definitely tricky. I mean, the more I look at Puka, the more I want you to get him. But I don't like your running back situation if you let go of Derrick Henry. And I like Harold Fannin Jr., I do. But I also like Trey McBride. So I feel like you'd be giving up a good running back and a better tight end for simply Puka. I mean, see if he'll give you something other than... Well, I mean, you still need a tight end. I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean, I like you getting Puka, but keep in mind Devontae and what he's doing. And you don't, I mean, I understand that the lure of Puka is there, but you don't want to hurt yourself at running back at an entire position just to get Puka, is what I would say. But I appreciate it because you're making me think, so I love it. I love it. I love when y'all make me think and I have to sit here and marinate with it for a second. But yeah, back to the Giants-Chicago game. There's value on both sides of this. This could be really low scoring and boring, or it could be really high scoring of a game. I think it's going to level more on the side of being a higher scoring game, and I think there'll be a bunch of fantasy value with the Giants and the Bears. Let's go into Jacksonville at Houston. Jacksonville and Houston, I don't know why I said it like that. I just decided to. Jacksonville, I've done impressions since I was a little kid, and there's many we do. Jacksonville's 5-3, baby, what you know about it. And then Houston is 3-5. The opposite. Who would have thunk that at the beginning of the season? Who do I play in this game? I'm so happy that you asked. I will play Travis Etienne in this matchup. Jacoby Myers might be getting out there. Monitor it. If Jacoby Myers gets out there for Jacksonville, then you probably want to look at playing him in this game. He's good when it comes to PPR. Parker Washington is another guy to look at. Travis Hunter is on injured reserve with his knee injury. Tim Patrick, Diami Brown, all on the injury report. Brian Thomas Jr. is on the injury report with an ankle injury. God willing, they will all be okay and get back very soon, God willing. So, I mean, taking a look at it, Travis Etienne is your best option, and then Jacoby Myers or Parker Washington. You can look at putting one of those guys out there. If Jacoby's able to go, I'd look to play him in this game. Parker, you might want to flex out, and you might want to flex out Basil Tootin. So just because, I mean, Basil Tootin's done some good things. He got into the end zone, right? So Questionable with a concussion. CJ Stroud, God be with him. Hopefully he'll be okay and he'll be able to go. If he's not, then you got Davis Mills. As far as Houston goes, they've had a lot of problems. Jacob, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm going to get to your question in just a moment. So make sure, happy to have you here. Happy to have everybody that's watching and listening around the country and the world. So Jacob, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell while I am finishing up here in this Houston comment, and then we'll get to your question. The Broncos defeated Houston on the road 18-15. C.J. Stroud 6 of 10 before going out with a concussion. And then Davis Mills 17 of 30, 137. Like I said, God willing, C.J. will be okay. Dalton Schultz led the way. What did I tell you? Backup quarterback, leaning on that tight end. 8 targets, 6 catches, 77 yards. Nico Collins also involved, 11 targets, 7 catches, 75 yards. Nick Chubb, 11 carries. Woody Marks had 10 carries. So against the Jaguars, if I'm going to look at this last game and how they've done against certain things, I mean, I would take a look at Nick Chubb or Woody Marks as a low-end 2, high-end 3 to flex out. I'd look to Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz potentially in this game for Houston. And, you know, we'll see how things go if Davis Mills ends up running the show here. I want to get to Jacob's question here, and so we're going to do that in just a moment, and definitely want to make sure. So the next one that we got is going to be Buffalo at Miami, but like I said, I want to take a look at the question that we just had come in from Jacob. So, Jacob, getting to your thoughts here. Should I do one of DK Metcalf or Travis Kelce plus RJ Harvey for Judkins? My running backs are Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Trey Benson, RJ Harvey. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Ibuka, DK Wendell, 7-2, 12-man PPR. Kelsey's my backup to Aronde Gadsden. So, should you give up DK or Travis plus RJ Harvey for Judkins? No. I would stay with what you have. RJ Harvey might not be getting a lot of running yards, but he's involved in the passing game. And, I mean, we're 2 weeks out of him coming off a 3-touchdown day. And he obviously got involved in the passing game last week. And I wouldn't be giving up DK right now. And all of that for Judkins? No. I would not do that, Jacob. Let's go to Buffalo at Miami. So, Buffalo, Miami, jumping into this one. Josh Allen, yes. James Cook, yes. Dalton Kincaid, yes. And then, as far as their receiving core, I am so... No. Like, I mean, there's nothing... There's no one on Buffalo's receiving core not named Dalton Kincaid that I'm going, yeah, I want that guy in fantasy to... I think he's going to help me win this week. I mean, it's underwhelming in Buffalo right now. It really is. Let's go to Miami. Miami just lost to the Ravens 28-6. And Tua in that game, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 25 of 40. Devon Achane, 14-67, 4.8 yards a carry. Waddle while you work, 9 targets, 6 catches, 82 yards. Greg Dulcich, he had 5 targets, 5 catches, 49 yards. Malik Washington, 3 targets, 3 catches, 48. Achane had 6 catches out of the backfield on 10 targets, 39 yards. So he had over 100 all-purpose yards, and he had 6 catches. PPR love going on there. Ollie Gordon, 1 target, 1 catch, and 2 carries for 6 yards. So, yeah, so I would say for Buffalo, I mean, and on Buffalo's side, with their underwhelming receiving core, I mean, they just beat the Chiefs 28-21 at home, which is what they do in the regular season. Stop playing the Chiefs in the regular season. Play them in the postseason. Stop giving them film on how you scheme against them because they always beat you the second time around. learn. So, but James Cook had over 100 yards against the Chiefs. Kincaid, 6 catches, 6 targets, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 8 targets, 7 catches, 43 yards. Dawson Knox had 1 catch. And yeah, so James Cook had a catch. So I would say, I mean, if you want to put out a receiver for Buffalo, then Khalil Shakir. But my expectations of him are not high. I would flex him. I wouldn't put him as a 1 or a 2. So I like Josh Allen. I like James Cook. I like Dalton Kincaid. And I'll give you a little bit of love here on Khalil Shakir as a flex. On the other side, it's Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle. If you want to flex out Malik Washington, I can understand. But that's kind of where I would be on Miami. Let's go to the next game that we have here. Baltimore, we kind of talked about these a little bit here, but Baltimore at the Lake Minnetonka. Purple versus purple. Purple rain, baby. If it rains in, well, no, because they play in a dome. I was going to say, if it rains in Minnesota, purple rain, right? Got to put it all together. So being in Minnesota, and there's already that Prince love, and then you put on top of all of that the fact that it's purple versus purple, and you got purple rain. So I, just wanted to mention Prince this morning, apparently. I was talking about him a couple days ago. Maybe that's why. Prince on the brain. So Lamar Jackson is worth the play. Derrick Henry's worth the play. Zay Flowers is worth the play. I'm going to call him a 2 at wide receiver. And then Mark Jones and Isaiah Likely, or Mark Andrews, pardon me, and Isaiah Likely, there's 2. It's good to have in reality. It's not good to have in fantasy because they eat off of each other's plate in fantasy. Now, yeah, because Isaiah had 3 catches and Mark had 2. But Mark's 2 catches were both touchdowns. But it's a giant roll of the dice because it hasn't been that way consistently throughout the season. So I would say yes on Derrick Henry, yes on Zay Flowers, yes on Lamar Jackson. I mean, how's Lamar looking? Jeepers Christmas. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now they're playing Miami. They were playing Miami, mind you, but it was his first game back in a month. And he threw 4 touchdowns. Also good that your first game back is against Miami. J.J. McCarthy, speaking about first game back, J.J. making it happen. I'm a fan of J.J. McCarthy. Excited for him. And wow. So we had somebody write messages that YouTube should have absolutely flagged for saying the N-word. That's awful. That's actually deplorable. So that's disgusting. Anywho, I would definitely tell you to go ahead and taking a look at this Minnesota game for the Minnesota Vikings. I would look at putting out, in this matchup, I'm not against you looking at J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if I'd put him out here in this game to be my end-all be-all, but Justin Jefferson, yes. Jordan Addison, yes. And outside of that, maybe a Jordan Mason in this matchup. And with that being said, we're going to take a step aside. Browns, Jets, when we come back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 10 of the 25-26 season. We'll be back right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Head to GG Cards and Breaks every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, right there off of Teal Ave in Syracuse, New York, where you get to be a big kid every time you walk through the door. GG Cards and Breaks, truly no place like it. I appreciate and respect them, starting with the wonderful Josh Gideon and Anthony Campbell and their entire staff. Can't say enough about GG Cards and Breaks, where you get to be a big kid every time you walk through the door and you get to make a memory. I've made so many awesome friendships there. It's truly a wonderful place. And yeah, cards may be why you come in, but why you come back, it's the way you're treated, and it's the experience you have, and it's the wonderful relationships you build. Head to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Big time shout out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge and Erie. You will find Chick-fil-A DeWitt. You can't miss it. The giant brick building that is there waiting for you with a double drive-through. Go and see them today. Let them know the DT sent you their way, and definitely cannot thank them enough for all that they bring to our community with Megan Sorber and her team. They're a few months old at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. I love that they're there on Erie Boulevard and Bridge Street in that main area. So when I'm driving around and getting things done, I can pull right into Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Try the Pretzel Cheddar Club original, spicy, as well as grilled. So some of you like the original sandwich, the spicy sandwich, or the grilled sandwich. Now you can have any one of those in the Pretzel Cheddar Club experience. Go and get it today and let them know that DT sent you to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt here in our community on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Fantasy Football Week 10. Next game we're going into here in the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Happy to have you here. The Browns at the Jets. And we'll take a look first at the Browns being the road team going up against the New York Jets that are obviously preparing for their future with many first-round picks. It's funny, though, because they got Ahmad Sauce Gardner early, right? And Breece Hall was early in the second round, and then they traded into the first round to get Jermaine Johnson the second, and they also got Garrett Wilson in the first round. So when you look at it and you say, okay, just a few years ago, they had 3 first-round picks and an early second-round pick, and I predicted all 4 of those picks, and as far as who they were going to get. And so the Jets, just a few years back, had multiple first-round picks and an early second-round pick, and now over the next 2 years, they'll have it again, but they're redoing it already. It's just kind of weird. It seems like if you look back a few years, it'd say, okay, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Ahmad Sauce Gardner, you got Jermaine Johnson II and Breece Hall. Aren't you going to take those things and build toward the future, build with these players? And it's kind of like we got them all together. We brought in Aaron Rodgers. It didn't work. So now we're letting all these guys go. And now we've got all these first-round draft picks again, as well as in the second round. So now we're going to try again to get the right talent. But it seemed like they had good talent. It's just that the team didn't win with that good talent. So now they're essentially putting themselves in a very similar position, having a lot of first round and second round picks to try and put a team together, which is what they did just a few years ago with the likes of Ahmad Sauce Gardner, who's now an Indianapolis Colt. So let's go into this matchup between Cleveland and the Jets. And so, that's what I think about when I'm hearing this. So Dillon Gabriel going to be out there. Shedeur Sanders questionable with a back injury. Deshaun Watson could be returning in Week 12. We haven't seen him all season due to an Achilles injury. Quinshawn Judkins questionable with a shoulder and AC joint injury. If I had to pick anybody to put in this game for you, I would think that Harold Fannin can get the ball out Dillon Gabriel can get the ball out to Harold Fannin Jr. Maybe you want to look at Dylan Sampson if Judkins isn't able to go. If Judkins can go, I would look at playing Judkins as a running back too. And then if Dylan Sampson, if Judkins doesn't go, I'd look to maybe a Dylan Sampson or Jerome Ford as a running back 4 flex out guy that I pick up. I like Harold Fannin Jr. and I'd give some love to Jerry Jeudy. I do want to take a look at how Judy's done most recently here with the Cleveland Browns in that move to Dillon Gabriel. So if we look at statistically, Jerry Jeudy, he's third in yards behind the tight ends, Harold Fannin Jr. and David Njoku. And as far as the game log goes, he's been a relative non-factor with Gabriel in. And they just lost at the Patriots 32-13, which has dropped them to 2-6. Harold Fannin Jr., David Njoku, and then Dylan Sampson if we don't see Quinshawn Judkins. That's what I would look at. So, they're playing the Jets, and the Jets don't have Quinnen Williams anymore. They don't have Ahmad Sauce Gardner. So maybe that opens up a Jerry Jeudy, but I would say Quinshawn Judkins if he can go. If not, look at Dylan Sampson. In a deep league, if you want to flex somebody out or you got somebody off, maybe you still put out Dylan Sampson because he did get 5 catches in this last game with Quinshawn Judkins out there. And then you play the tight ends, David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. If you want to take a flyer on Jerry Jeudy because they're playing the Jets, then I would flex him out. But outside of that, like I said, he's been a non-factor. As far as the offense of the Jets, Adonai Mitchell's now on the team, part of that trade for Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Garrett Wilson's questionable with a knee injury. John Mechie, the third, is on the team too. That was another move made. If I'm going to pick where the Jets are going to go, where Justin Fields is going to pass this ball or utilize his offense, most recently here, they got to win 39-38 over the Cincinnati Bengals. That was their only win of the season so far. Breece did really well in that game. And Isaiah Davis got used a lot out of the backfield, and Mason Taylor. So, if you're going to play anybody against the Browns, I would say Breece Hall. I would say flex out Isaiah Davis. Maybe look at a guy like Mason Taylor at tight end. Running back and tight end for Justin Fields is where I would say to go. But I think the tight end in this game, because on the other side, David Njoku and Harold Fannin, I look at playing them both as well. Let's go to, it seems like the tight end running back game for the Jets and the Browns. But Dillon Gabriel can still get the ball out there, and obviously he gets it out there to the tight ends. So, I would say I'd lean on the Browns in that game. I'd lean on their tight ends, but I think the rushing attack and then maybe of both teams and then maybe Mason Taylor on the other side. I don't feel great about Mason Taylor, but I don't feel horrible. I'll call him a mid-range tight end 1. And then as far as the Patriots at the Bucks in this matchup, I would say I mean, Drake May has been doing some good things, and he's definitely had himself a good second season, which I thought could very well happen in this. So we'll take a look at Drake May first and foremost. They're 7-2. They're on a 6-game winning streak, as I had mentioned before, I believe. And he's 19-29 in the last game against the Falcons, a 1-point victory for Drake. And if you don't know that, look up Soulja Boy talking about the rapper Drake. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 259 yards. Travion Henderson had 14 carries, and Demario Douglas 4 catches, Hunter Henry 4 catches. Diggsy had 3 catches. Douglas and Diggs had a touchdown. Travion Henderson had 4 catches out of the backfield on 6 targets. No Ramondre Stevenson. So I would say in this one, Travion Henderson, I would say he's worth the play in this. I'd play Stephon Diggs, and I look at playing Hunter Henry. I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1. Keyshawn Booty has a hamstring injury, which has left him questionable. And Drake May, I mean, they're going to Tampa. Tampa's 6-2, and New England's 7-2. So I don't think playing Drake May is a bad idea, but I'll call him a mid-range QB1. On the other side, Baker Mayfield's going up against the defense of the Patriots, so I'm going to call him a mid-range QB1 as well. I like Emeka Ibuka in the game and Tez Johnson. Hopefully you can flex out Tez, but I like Emeka Ibuka in this matchup. Bucky Irving, if he's able to go, I'd look at playing Bucky. If not, then I'd make Rashad White potentially my running back too. In the Battle of the Nest, we have Arizona going to Seattle to play the 12th man. Seattle getting better, and Arizona's coming off a win over the Cowboys. And how about this? The Dallas Cowboys this season had scored 40 or more points at home in every game they played at home, and then failed to score 40 points on the road against anybody that they played on the road. The Cardinals broke the streak at home for the Cowboys this past week. Monday Night Football for the 2 teams that used to be NFC East divisional foes. We see the Arizona Cardinals get a victory on the road, 27-17. So, shout out to Arizona in that game, and respect to Arizona in that game for sure. With Jacoby Brissett, who I covered in college, he did a good job. 21-31, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 261 yards. Got the ball out to Marvin Harrison Jr., got the ball out to Trey McBride, got some passes out to Michael Wilson as well. So, I mean, I would say for Arizona this week, playing Seattle on the road, Kyler Murray, on the injury report, he is questionable with a foot injury. God willing, he's able to go. But I would say Marvin Harrison Jr. is worth the play. I would say Michael Wilson could be worth the flex, but I'm going to lower my expectations of him to a wide receiver 4, and I like Trey McBride. On Seattle's side, Jackson Smith and Jigba, obviously. Kenneth Walker III, obviously. Zach Charbonnet, I look at putting him out as a flex. And Rashid Shaheed, if he's able to go, I'd put him out too. Think about it. Cooper Kupp's out. So if Rashid Shaheed is able to go in this one, I'd look to put him out. If he doesn't go in this game, then I would say Jackson Smith and Jigba and Torrey Horton, who you might still be able to pick up on waiver wire or in free agency. I'd look to put him out there on your team as well. And A.J. Barner, mid-range tight end 1. Not a bad sleeper pick in this game against Arizona. Let's go. And by the way, I told y'all that Jacoby Brissett coming into the league from NC State was a good quarterback. And he has proven that he can do good things with the Colts, with the Patriots, with the Cardinals. Been all over the place. So don't count him out at helping a team stay relevant and stay in the hunt. Now, Jonathan said to me, best guess at who Cook's handcuff would be, Johnson or Davis. You're talking about James? Oh, wait. You said Cook, like you're talking about Brandon Cooks? So, Jonathan, are you talking about Brandon? Like, are we talking Brandon Cooks, wide receiver for the Saints? Because if we are, I got an easy answer for that. Yes. Oh, no, he said yes. James Cook, sorry, dealing with ankle issues from last week. So, I mean, listen, if James Cook is able to play, I mean, he's not on the injury report for me right now. And I'm going to double check it, but, oh no, I'm sorry, he is on my injury report. Pardon me on that. He's questionable with the ankle injury. So, Ty Johnson or Ray Davis? Oh, that's a good question. So, I mean, if James Cook is able to go, then I'm playing James Cook. If he's not able to go in this game, or he's not 100%, then I would tell you, good question. I don't know why I didn't catch that. I didn't think I saw an injury marker next to James Cook, so my bad on that. But, I mean, Ty Johnson was the only guy that they utilized, so I'd probably say Ty Johnson. I know Davis has been taking a back seat, but feel like him and Davis have the same role. I mean, Josh Allen was able to handle business, right? He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and James Cook had over 100 yards in that win over the Chiefs. I mean, if I had to pick right now, Ty Johnson is the guy they used. But Ray Davis, and they also threw the ball to Ty Johnson. They didn't throw the ball to Ray Davis. I mean, but Ray Davis is a sneaky sleeper. Johnson was used more last week. So, I mean, I think Ray Davis is a sneaky sleeper if James Cook doesn't go, but Ty Johnson was utilized more in the offense more recently, is what I would say to answer your question. Thank you for the question, though, Jonathan. I always appreciate it. So let's get into the Rams at the Niners. Man, Mac Jones is so good. And, you know, I predicted that he would be a Patriot. I said if he falls to 15 to Bill Belichick at the time, I said he's going to go there. And he did. And then it didn't work out. But with all due respect, like none of their receivers were household names there. And none of them really did anything to become household names there. So I feel like Mac Jones, that wasn't a great situation for him to be the quarterback after Tom Brady when they didn't really have a lot going on. And then, you know, and then after Mac Jones went to Jacksonville, you know, he's behind Trevor Lawrence, so he's not going to play, and you're not going to see him that much. And then he goes to San Francisco, and he's killing it, right? He's doing a great job. And like I told you weeks and weeks ago, you ride the hot hand. I don't care how healthy Brock Purdy gets. If Mac Jones is winning, you ride the hot hand. That's what you do. If he's out there and he's getting it done, you lean on him. You don't say, oh, Brock Purdy's healthy, see you later, Mac. No. Mac's played in 7 games this season. He's had 7 games this season. And in those 7 games that he's been the quarterback, they have gone 5-2. They're still relevant because Mac Jones has been their quarterback. So with the Rams and the Niners facing off in an NFC West divisional matchup, I'm going to tell you for the Rams, Kyron Williams, yes. Puka, if he's able to go. Definitely Devontae Adams. Just watch Puka's rib injury. God willing, he'll be okay. And then outside of that, for San Francisco, I like Mac Jones. If he's your backup quarterback and you got him on the roster this week because your other guys are off, I don't mind you playing Mac Jones against the Rams. I like CMC in the game. Jawan Jennings, I'm going to flex him out. You know, I'm not wowed by the receiving core of San Francisco at the moment as far as like a guy that I'm like, oh, absolutely. I mean, honestly, it's Christian McCaffrey in the backfield and in the passing game. He had 6 targets, 5 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown on top of running the ball. Christian McCaffrey, 28 for 106, 3.8 yards a carry, and a touchdown on the ground. Jawan Jennings, 4 catches, 5 targets, one of them being for a touchdown. Kendrick Bourne, 2 catches, 2 targets. George Kittle, 4 catches, 4 targets. I mean, it's Mac Jones throwing him the ball. So I would say, I mean, in this matchup, I'm okay with you putting Kittle out. Jawan Jennings, like I said, I would flex him out. In a deep league, he might be your 2, and I would definitely play CMC. And I'm not against you playing Mac Jones because he's played so well. The next one that we have up here, Detroit at Washington. Detroit has had some scratching head moments, and Washington has just had that injury bug that's bit you, and you can't seem to scratch out that itch. So, I mean, Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs, yes. David Montgomery, yes. Amon-Ra St. Brown, yes. Sam Laporta, yes. Jamison Williams, I'd probably flex him out if you can. And, because I'm just not overly wowed about Jamison Williams right now. On the other side of it, I mean, Chris Rodriguez and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, if you're hurting at running back and you need somebody, you can probably find Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt on the waiver wire, maybe Chris Rodriguez in free agency. Maybe you put one of those guys out there. Terry McLaurin, he's questionable with a quad injury still. God willing, he can get out there and play. They definitely miss him. They brought in Treylon Burks, who was underwhelming when he was with the Eagles. And, I mean, Deebo Samuel, I think he's a good flex this week. I don't, sometimes you just have a feeling, and this week I just have a feeling about Deebo that you should put him out there. And that's why I was having a conversation with somebody about it earlier about who should they play. And I was thinking about Deebo. Deebo, 1 carry for 3 yards, 5 catches, 6 targets, 41 yards in the last game. Zach Ertz got involved. And Chris Rodriguez, 12 carries, 65 yards and a touchdown. Something to look at. I mean, Zach Ertz and Deebo Samuel I'd probably put out there. And then Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or Chris Rodriguez. If I had to pick, I'd pick Rodriguez between the two, and it would be a running back 4 situation. Jamison Williams, of all the guys I told you to play for Detroit, I do want to take a look at Jamison because I want to be fair that I actually assess his most recent numbers here. And I would say that, 4 catches, 6 targets. He did have a touchdown. His game log this season for Jamison Williams, 4 catches, it's 4-2-2-2, 4-2-2-2-1-6-0-4. And he has 3 touchdowns. Second game of the season, and then he had a touchdown at Kansas City, and he just had a touchdown. So he's underwhelming. I'd flex him out. I would call him a 3. I'd call him a wide receiver 3. Next game that we're going to do here is Sunday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the West Coast to face off against them Chargers. Happy I got Rondé Gadsden II, a guy that I covered and interviewed while he was at Syracuse. Happy to put him as my second tight end and then shift him to my first, and I've kept him there ever since because it was a great place to go. Los Angeles did not have a number 1 tight end, so the door was open for a guy who's very talented. And shout out to the work that he has done. And shout out to the staff at Syracuse who made a decision over these last couple of years to move him to tight end when he is a tall wide receiver. But you put that tall wide receiver in the middle of the field. Now you got a wide receiver talent over the middle who can make moves, do different things, and has that height. And Rondé Gadsden's been awesome. Alex, just saw your message. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate having you here. So I will get to your question in just a second. And in the meantime, you can hit that subscribe and notification. And so we're talking about Lab McConkey. Okay, so good timing here. So I'll get into that in just a moment. Looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road to the Los Angeles Chargers, Pittsburgh most recently got a victory over the Colts, and that's a huge win because the Colts, you would think Peyton Manning's on the team right now, the way the Colts have been playing, and the Pittsburgh Steelers avoid being 500. There's a big difference between 4-4 and 5-3. And in the game, Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 35, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Jalen Warren, 16 for 31, 1.9 yards a carry, but he did have 2 touchdowns. Calvin Austin, the third out of Memphis, 5 catches, 6 targets, 56. Darnell Washington, 4 catches, 6 targets, 43. Kenneth Gainwell out of the backfield, 4 catches, 5 targets, 35. Freiermuth had a touchdown, 3 catches, 4 targets, 27. DK Metcalf, 4 targets, 2 catches, only 6 yards in the game. I would say Jaylen Warren in the deep league, he's a 2. Hopefully he's your running back 3. I don't have him as a 1 or a 2. DK Metcalf in this matchup, I'll call him a wide receiver 2. I'll call Kelvin Austin a third a wide receiver 2. And then I'll call Pat Freiermuth a tight end 1 in the matchup. Kamani Vidal, I'd look to play him in this game. I want to take a look at how Kamani's done here most recently for the Los Angeles Chargers as they have this home game on. I'm actually really excited for the Sunday Night Football game. So Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, a lot of good things going on here. Kamani Vidal, 12 carries, 30 yards, 2.5 yards carry. Aronde Gadsden not only caught the ball, he caught every target thrown his way, 5, in that win over the Titans. 68 yards led the team for the rookie. Over Ladd McConkey, 7 targets, 4 catches, 56. Quentin Johnson had a touchdown, 5 targets, 4 catches, 53. Keenan Allen, 5 targets, 2 catches, 41. So he's still getting involved in this. I would say for Amarian Hampton could be returning week 13. He's got an ankle injury, so 3 weeks from now. Kamani Vidal, I would say if you're going to play him, flex him out. Justin Herbert, I'm going to call him a low-end 1, high-end 2 to play in this game. I probably wouldn't play either quarterback. I do like Ladd McConkey. I like Aronde Gadsden the second, obviously. And Quentin Johnston, I like him as a low-end 2, high-end 3. And then I'm going to call Keenan Allen a wide receiver 3. I still think he's a factor, and he could show up in a game like this when the lights are bright. I just am not completely sold on definitely calling him a 1 or a 2, but I do like the thought of putting Keenan Allen out there. But he could also be on a 6-yard day, right? I mean, it could be that he's good or he gets 6 yards. So I'm going to call him a wide receiver 3. Monday Night Football is a game that we had to start off the season. Last season on a Friday night, we had this game as the second game of the year in Brazil, and now we have it on Monday Night Football in Wisconsin. Wisconsin and Brazil are similar, right? Same weather, same look, just kind of the same essence and feel. I'm being facetious. If anybody thought I was serious, I need you to look up the definition of sarcasm, and please join us in 2025. So let's take a look at Philadelphia first, and then we'll go to Green Bay, the enigma. Green Bay, again, just lost to Carolina, so they continue to be the definition. Look that up too. The definition of an enigma. That's something for you to look up here. It'll be good for you to do. So Philadelphia, I like Jalen Hurts in the game. Saquon is on the injury report with a groin injury. Monitor that, or we could see Tank Bigsby out there. So Tank might be a guy to grab and stash just to have for Monday night in case you need to use him. But if Saquon's able to go, I like Saquon. I like Devontae Smith. I like Dallas Goedert. A.J. Brown, hamstring injury. Saquon, groin injury. Those are 2 injuries that you do not want to have, especially if you're a running back or a wide receiver. When it comes to, sometimes they can nag for weeks and weeks and sometimes for years and years. So I hope that doesn't happen to AJ or Saquon. If they're able to go, I'd look to play them, but I like Devontae and Dallas Goedert in the game. I would grab and stash Tank Bigsby if you haven't already. And if Saquon's able to go, I like to play Saquon. I like Jalen Hurts. On the other side for Green Bay, I actually like Jordan Love in this Monday night game. I'm going to call him a mid to low range quarterback 1, but I do like him under the lights, and they are a team that, like I said, is all over the place. So this could be their good game after playing a not great game against Carolina. I like Josh Jacobs and Romeo Doubs. So that is my look at Week 10 of the 2025-26 season. Fantasy football advice, probably presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Teams that are off, Bengals, Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans, do not play any of those players or you will be wasting a week. And now the question from Alex. Thoughts on me trading away McConkey and Henderson? I'm guessing that's Travion Henderson, Alex. So I also have Gadsden as my tight end, so I'm relying on 2 Charger receivers. My running backs are Bijan, Jacobs, Dowdle, Henderson, JCM, and Chuba Hubbard. Appreciate any input. Who are your wide receivers, I guess would be my question. So who are your wide receivers, Alex? Send me those, and then I can give you that answer. And I will not forget about it. So send that over to me, and I'll shoot you an answer here. We'll talk about it on the show. So thank you for being with us inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Wake Up Call is with you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, it's almost 1 p.m. today. We like to give you more than 2 hours. YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. When the shows go live, after they do that, they hop into the archive on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, as well as Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And of course, you can also tell Alexa or your Google device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that as well. Alex, make sure you send me your receiver so I can answer your question. And make sure to support our Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Garvell DeWitt, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek, 2 locations, 1 in the country in Cazenovia, 33 Rippleton Road out in Caz, and 1 in the Syracuse Inner Harbor, which is by so many things, including downtown, Destiny USA, the fairgrounds, as well as the Dome, Myers Creek, on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Game Point Sports Complex, the place for your indoor 4 seasons a year. Incredible, awesome, climate-controlled experience that I wish that we had when I was growing up and I was training. But I'm happy that I have it now because I can train now still. Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcats with us every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and we underpromise, overdeliver, giving you specials with the Bearcats like we did this past Monday with Lavelle Sanders giving a look at the team this season, a timeless feature that you can go back to and check on as the team continues to grow and evolve and blossom throughout the year. You can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Lasers in the Laser Lounge every other Wednesday on Wake Up Call at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, including this upcoming Wednesday, a week from today on the 12th. We'll be back here with the Lasers Wednesday, November 12th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, and administration of Onondaga Community College call Wake Up Call home in a way you won't find anywhere else. You can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the OCC playlist, and the Lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. I want to thank you for tuning into the show. I want to thank having my wonderful special with Casey Keeler. I want to thank Rich Berg, Casey Keeler, and everybody over at Temple with the football program. God bless to each and every single one of you, and have a great rest of your season. And you can go and watch that special with Casey Keeler airing as its own individual video, be coming up here momentarily on our channels. And of course, many thanks to the College Football Playoff for allowing me the opportunity to cover you and to have access. And I love that we got to talk about it, and I'm going to share my audio and video feeds on the College Football Playoff reactions of their first rankings of the 2025-26 season. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say, God bless, no stress, do your best. Stay safe and be well. And I'm staying with you for one more second because I got to keep my word to Alex here. So Alex said thoughts on trading McConkey and Henderson for Ibuka. So, I mean, Henderson, let me see here. You got Bees, you got Jacobs, you got Dowdle. Okay. And so you'd be trading away Ladd McConkey and Travion Henderson for Ibuka? I don't know if I like that. I think it's too much to give up for one thing. So I would look to other trades, is what I would say to you. And don't be worried about the fact that, Alex, you're relying on 2 Chargers, because you're relying on the 2 best ones out there right now in the receiving core. Aronde Gadsden II and Ladd McConkey, they're relevant every year. If that was Keenan Allen, then maybe I would say move, but because Keenan Allen's kind of a wild card. But no, I'm good with what you got. Stay with what you got. Now I can say, God bless, no stress, do your best. Have a beautiful day and be good to each other and yourself.